Hello friends, welcome to the video. How many times have you achieved a goal and then quickly realized that you weren't satisfied by it? Such an experience can be confusing, to say the least. You find yourself wondering how you could have chosen a goal that now seems not matter at all to you. Or you point to one tiny aspect of the goal and say, well, if it wasn't for that, I'd be satisfied. It just didn't turn out like I hoped, that's all. But that's not usually what's happening in this type of situation. Rather, most often we tend to set goals on the surface circumstances that we believe will make us feel happy, rather than focusing on the underlying essence of what we really want. For example, let's say that one of your goals is to work less so you have more time to enjoy life. You manage to rearrange your schedule so you have more time to yourself. But within a few weeks, find yourself feeling bored and restless. You decide that freedom isn't all it's made out to be and eagerly bury yourself in work again. But still feel dissatisfied and yearn for something more. What happened with this goal? There are numerous possibilities, but in my opinion I'd say that you are actually craving something else, not just freedom. But you never connected with exactly what you wanted. Perhaps you were actually craving a greater sense of creativity, which you could have satisfied by setting aside a few hours a week to explore your artistic side. Maybe you actually desired a deeper spiritual connection, which you could have achieved through daily meditation or journaling. The point is that every goal you set will have a deeper desire attached to it. Rather than focusing on the external situation or circumstances you are trying to create in your life, focus on the underlying feeling you want to experience. The remedy: whenever you set a goal, your immediate question should be, why do I want this? Don't allow yourself to give a pat answer like, it will make me happy. Why will it make you happy? What feelings will these new circumstances or experience provide for you? Why are these feelings important to you? What deeper need will they satisfy? You may be surprised by what comes up when you start asking questions like this. You'll become aware of needs you didn't even know you had. But that's a good thing, because only by knowing what you truly want can you get it. Another side benefit is that by being super clear on what you want, you may discover much easier and quicker ways to get it. Maybe by making some small changes instead of rearranging your entire life circumstances. Sometimes we make things much harder than they need to be. Unrealistic expectations. If I had to choose one of the most difficult challenges in goal setting, I'd choose this one. How many times have you set a massive goal while thinking, this will be a breeze? You imagine yourself effortlessly undertaking your action steps each day, easily moving toward your chosen outcome, and reaching it in record time. Unfortunately, that's not the way it usually happens. Instead, you feel overwhelmed and frustrated when you don't seem to be progressing as quickly as you planned. Rather than acknowledging that you may have set your sights too high, you may be tempted to give up altogether. Talk about a recipe for disaster. Unfortunately, we often fail to realize that it is far easier to think about doing something than it is to actually do it. Especially if you're trying to achieve something radically different than what we're currently used to. With every goal you set, understand that there is gonna be a period of transition as you work toward it. You can't expect to make a giant leap from mailroom clerk to CEO in a matter of weeks, or lose 15 pounds in a month, or go from being sedentary to a marathon runner without first undertaking months of training. The solution for this challenge is obvious. Start smaller. Not many people will enjoy hearing that, but it's necessary unless you have an iron will and lots of patience. There's nothing wrong with setting big goals, but you also want to set goals that are actually achievable. That means either setting smaller goals to start with, or lowering your expectations of how and when your goal will come to fruition. Which one you choose will depend on your personal preferences. There are people who can set a large goal and diligently work toward it for years until they achieve it. They never lose sight of what they're working toward, and they're willing to wait patiently until they get to where they want to be. It's too hard. Working toward any goal will seem hard at the beginning. But sometimes we underestimate just how hard. Sometimes it's the result of unrealistic expectations. Taking on a bigger goal than you're ready for can definitely make the journey seem impossible. But there is also a more common reason for goal achievement seem difficult, and that is you are building momentum. A common analogy used for describe momentum is pushing a car. To get the car rolling, you have to exert a lot of force. But the longer you push, momentum begins to take over and you hardly have to push at all to keep the car moving along. Goals are very much the same in that you have to work harder at them in the beginning than you do toward the end. If you work at them for long enough, you enter this zone where it just seems simple to take the action steps and make steady progress each day. Another good example is starting a new fitness routine. Your first workout will probably seem a little bit like torture. Your muscles will burn and ache, will be drenched in sweat and end up wondering if a sedentary life might not be so bad after all. But what happens if you keep pushing through your workouts every day? You build muscle and get stronger. You feel more energetic. Will probably even begin to enjoy working out. The stronger you get, the more easily you are able to keep up the momentum. Keep pushing yourself until you reach the point where it doesn't seem so hard anymore. Remind yourself that it won't always be so hard. While that sounds simple, it may not always be easy to convince yourself. Relish the challenge. One thing that seems to work surprisingly well is choosing to enjoy the challenge. Rather than mentally winning that it's too hard, engage in some self-talk like this: I thrive on challenges. I can handle this, no problem. No pain, no gain. I refuse to give up. Use whatever phrases work for you, but the idea is to convince yourself that you have what it takes to push through any difficulties. Often, just believing you do is enough to make it so. If you're really struggling and unable to talk yourself into believing it's easier, try focusing on one tiny aspect of your goal. Every goal will probably have numerous action steps that will take each day as you work toward it. But trying to do all of them at once might prove overwhelming. If that's the case, try doing just one of the action steps until it gets easier. Then add another one and another, until you are doing all of them with less struggle. That's all for today, friends. Leave your like, comment, subscribe. Bye!